Welcome back, everybody, to the 2019 Chinese Grand Prix stream. This time we are here for qualifying after a practice session which saw Franco Lopez top the session ahead of Miklos Gao and Laura Chung. We are now here for the qualifying session. Whether their pace will transfer over into qualifying, it will remain to be seen. I'm joined again by Danny. So how are you doing after the 6-minute break that we had?
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very good, I presume. So, anyway, we are now here for the qualifying session. 18 minutes for Q1. As you can see, that we'll have no rain for the entirety of qualifying. So no rain for Q1, no rain for Q2, and no rain for Q3. So I think without further ado, let's get cracking with Q1. So this one is an 18-minute session. The other two, of course, being 15 minutes for anybody who needs a reminding. And we got a great view of the tower of Shanghai on the loading screen there. The tower that's the whole architecture itself. The interesting thing about it as well is that it's in the shape of a Formula One rear wing. If you look at it from a helicopter view, so very interesting stat. And the whole layout of the circuit as well. It's in the shape of the Chinese symbol Shang. So that's that really. That's where the inspiration of the layout came from. So anyway, we're looking at Martinez, who will be looking at a blank screen at the moment. Well, a screen full of drivers, but we'll be soon seeing some cars going out very soon, hopefully. And hopefully we'll see some movement very soon. And we're doing the former Williams, and it is Felix Sontag. Obviously, his teammate Lin Campana was the first to come out during practice. Well, it's now his go for the qualifying session in the very nice purple Michael Schumacher helmet with gold stars. I must say, I much like that helmet very much. Probably the best custom Michael Schumacher design that I think Felix has ever done, to be honest with you, having integrating purple into the design. So quite a good job, and also incorporating Rocket in there as well. I believe it was him who designed it, or it might have been someone else. I know that Felix does sometimes like to design some Michael Schumacher helmets himself, so that's that. So Felix is out on track. We also have the likes of Laura Chung, Paulino Tomaselli, Amar Carr, Franco Gamba, and a few others out on the track. Obviously, everybody will be going out on the track in Q1, although there are a few occasions where some people get left behind, because Grand Prix 4 is Grand Prix 4 for some runs, so one sometimes gets left behind. Sometimes it doesn't, but in some cases it does. So we'll have to see if that is a thing here in China. But everybody out on track on this occasion, no excuses there. And so anyway, Felix Sontag now then just rounding the section of corners as everybody, as mentioned, will be coming out onto the track as we're flicking through the drivers who have just come out onto the racetrack and those who are still yet to come out of pit lane at this point in time. As we look at Felix Sontag now then, he just makes his way down the straight now then, and he'll soon be the one who'll be setting the benchmark for everybody to beat here in Q1 as he makes his way down towards the hairpin. And just missing the curb on the right hand side there, just coming off the corner now then, as he'll soon make his way towards the final corner, the 90-degree left-hander, which is pretty much an unpopular corner for a lot of people on the in general really, and this track pretty much unpopular in itself. But I think in terms of Grand Prix 4, I think it's safe to say that this track has been very kind to us in the past in the OC. We've actually produced some good racing here, unlike in real life, which is well, I say that there's been a few good races in real life around this track. 2018 comes to mind. 2016 was actually quite a good race.
2017 was an horrible GP4 OC race here. Just saying.
Well, yeah, in terms of that, but I think in some cases it's actually been quite kind to us since. It must be said. So, and I'm talking about real life. I'm thinking of here. 2006 was a good race. You could say in a way 2007, but that only really kicked off when Lewis went off into the gravel there, and pretty much after that, not really much happened apart from Kimi Räikkönen winning, which would have excited Yuri that day, I'm pretty sure. But anyway,
I mean, those two had a great wheel-to-wheel battle on that race.
Yeah, because of Lewis's
I don't
tyre
really
problem.
remember it.
I presume you got into F1 quite late, Danny. You probably don't remember the 2007 Chinese Grand Prix that well.
I basically watch every race from 2005, but I don't remember anything from it, so...
Alright, too long time ago, I presume. So, anywho, we now look at Sontag now then. He comes around the hairpin now then, as he will soon come up towards the final corner. And let's see what the benchmark time is going to be. Quite a slow entrance into that final corner, but Sontag now then across the line he will come, and what's the lap time going to be? It is going to be a 1:34.009. So that's the benchmark time. Not the best of times for Felix Sontag, but probably expected given he's in a Williams. Byrne inevitably betters that by 7/10. Then Carr by 1.8 seconds goes to the top. In fact, that's actually quite a decent time actually. From Carr until it's beaten by Loa Chung, of course. Chung goes to the top. Tomaselli goes to third, and here comes Franco Gamba to go into third himself. Here comes Matteo Catalan. Cross the line.
For Gamba, actually. 7/10 of the pace.
As Catalan went fourth, Gomez seventh. As we just saw a few others there. Lopez goes fourth. De Rosa then goes to fourth. A good time from him there. Here comes Roland Motrin. He slots to sixth. Here comes David Kupak. Across the line he will go to into seventh place. George Roque, the man who made an amazing comeback in Bahrain. He's going to cross the line to go into ninth position. Joseph Willows, meantime, slots to third, making it a 1-3 for Ferrari. Here comes Fosbury now then. Slots to seventh. A good time from Fosbury there. Obviously with a point to prove as Jared Fosbury this weekend. Videri goes to 13th. Campana goes to 12th. Here comes Maxim Titkov, and he slots to 12th, so improving the momentum into practice instead. But Martinez goes to 10th that time by a very good time from the 2018 DTM champion. Here comes Miklos Gau, he slots to third in the Red Bull. Here comes Jay McKenzie. This looks like a very good time for McKenzie actually, and in fact it wasn't. It was only 11th place. Well, he's still in the first half until Chatfield bumps him down to 12th. Chatfield goes up into 11th position, and they are the first ones done. So at the moment, the home favourite, Loa Chung, at the top of the timing sheet. But of course, this is only Q1. This is not the fight for pole position at this point in time. That fight for pole obviously coming in Q3. This is the fight to stay in the top 16 basically. So at the moment in the bottom 6 we have Campana, Catalan, Videri, Byrne, Gomez and Sontag. The likes of Catalan, Videri and Byrne and even Gomez will probably be disappointed with that first run, but at the moment, looking at it at the moment, probably set to change, but as it stands, both manners at the moment in Q2 at the moment, but it's only early days.
That's really surprising actually.
Seems like their car may be hooked up around here, it must be said.
The Mercedes engine is there, so...
Well, we know that the Mercedes engine isn't actually the quickest, of course. We know that the Honda is actually... Yeah, it's decent, obviously. It's a match. The Honda seems to be a match for it down the street, as we've seen with the Red Bulls and the Toro Rossos. But we obviously know how quick the Ferrari engine is down the street as well. It's proven by how quick Chung was able to overtake everybody in Australia. So, obviously, there's that factor as well. And the Renault engine, of course, being the slowest, but it's still got some decent power, especially in the McLaren. They're still able to overtake people. And including the Renault as well, but you could say most of their straight line speed comes from the fact that they've got a very draggy car. So that's that really. As Catalan just makes his way back into the garage, of course he'll be looking to try and improve if he can, all the way down in 18th. The man who was quite a superstar in Bahrain last time out, probably should have got more than 10th position. As a Manor and a Williams come into the pits, one of them being Titkov, who's the Manor. And he better not get stuck at the moment. He doesn't look like he's going to be stuck because his car's not bouncing around, so he shouldn't be stuck. But anyway, I only know that personally from hosting Formula E and BTCC. I know that usually whenever they quite get close to the wall, if the car starts jolting around, so to speak, then the car is usually stuck. But Titkov's car is not jolting. He's going back into his garage there, as he was just taking avoiding action.
He'll be a bit thankful for that.
But so far, a very good session for Mano at the moment. I'm not, to be honest, as much as I want to see it happen, I don't expect both of them to go through, to be honest, because I do expect the likes of Catalan, Videri, Byrne and Gomez to improve. But if one of the guys can get themselves into Q2, that would be quite impressive as well. I mean, they were able to do that in Australia, of course, I believe, with Rosetta Martinez, so maybe a second Q2 appearance for Mana could come in this session. We'll have to wait and see. As we look at Evan Byrne now, currently down in 20th, desperate to improve at this point in time. Obviously, a disastrous start to the season, it must be said, for Evan Byrne, getting caught up in accidents with George Roque, and he'll be looking to see if he can try and tidy that up this weekend and try and improve this weekend and get some points on the board for Renault. Renault, of course, still yet to score a point this season, despite having a very draggy car. Jay McKenzie, you have to feel, was probably robbed last time out in Bahrain for that mechanical failure. Was looking good for a solid points finish in Bahrain before his car let him down, and hence why he's down in 19th at the moment in the Drivers' Championship, and Byrne is down in 16th at this point in time. Byrne, of course, showed some pace towards the end of Bahrain, but obviously still had that penalty looming around him, the 15-second time penalty that he was for causing an incident with George Roque. As mentioned, looking to put that behind him and see if he can make amends here in China as he makes way around the right-hander. Track that he's actually won in the past, actually twice before, actually, in 2011 and 2012 when he was at McLaren. So he's got some good history with this track, so he'll be looking to see if he can get some points on the board this weekend and finally get his season underway. He's got a big gap to the guy behind, so he should be able to get a clear run unless somebody comes out of the pits right in front of him, but I think everybody is out on track judging from the mini-map. So I think Byrne will be okay when it comes to traffic. So he's about to start his lap now then, and it seems that Martinez is the only one that's going to be left in the pit lane. Not real surprise. I mean, he is up in 13th at the moment, so he's doing quite well. So it's kind of understandable that time by that he'd be the one left out that time by, as we have just under 10 minutes to go in the session. Byrne going very quickly through the first few corners on the racetrack, and he is looking to do well. So in terms of Byrne's season at the moment, Danny, got to say quite a disappointing one for him at the moment.
Definitely not a good start to the season. I won't say it's terrible.
I mean, he's shown some pace still, but the points are still not there at the moment. I mean, obviously the collisions with Roque haven't helped either, so that's that really. But anyway, he looks like he's on improvement, because the first sector you can see on the top of the death panel, he went green. Let's see if he can keep that up in the next sector. And 4 temps up on his personal best. So at the moment, he's going to get himself into Q2 at the moment, looking at the gaps of everybody who's in that bottom 6 and even 16th as well, which is ticked off.
Like he's going 7th.
At this point in time, let's see as he comes down the straight where the Renault should be able to capitalise due to how draggy their car is. As Byrne makes his way down to the hairpin, he's also got a Mercedes and a Ferrari behind him at the moment. I think that's Car, and it looks like Willows. I think I saw a little bit of yellow on the Ferrari there, so I think that might be Willows. As Byrne now then just coming out of the hairpin, making his way towards the final corner. And let's see what he can do then. So across the line then comes Evan Byrne. And let's see, can he go up to 7th like Danny said? And no, it's in fact 16th, so he lost quite a bit of time in that last sector, surprisingly.
That's probably down to the Renault engine.
Might be, but anyway, Car didn't improve that time by. De Rosa doesn't improve. Here comes Garber. Can he improve? No, remains in 5th. Fosby currently holding up, I believe this is Willows, and it is, so neither of those two improve. Gomez is on an improvement, and he goes up to 13th, pushes Byrne back down into the drop zone. So here comes Sontag. He improves, but remains in 22nd. Still 5 tenths off the Dairy at this point in time. Motrin doesn't improve. Gal, meanwhile, stays where he is in 3rd position. Here comes Maxim Titkov. Across the line he goes. He doesn't get himself back into the top 16. Lopez only 6th with that improvement, so still struggling a little bit. Here comes Tomaselli, goes into 11th place that time by. Here comes Matteo Catalan. He's not improving, surprisingly enough, and he's currently in the drop zone. So here comes Catalan. Across the line he will go, and he improves in the last sector, but only up to 18th, so he's still in the drop zone. Roque, meanwhile, is improving. He's currently on the cusp of the top 2. But he only goes up to 15th that time by. Videri does improve and pushes Martinez into the drop zone. So Videri able to improve there. Campana doesn't improve, remains in 21st. So currently a back row at the moment for Williams, with 21st and 22nd for Campana and Sontag. McKenzie, meanwhile, stays in 14th. Chatfield remains in 12th position. And that's those runs done. So at the moment, it's not looking good for Byrne at the moment. He's in the drop zone, and same for Catalan as well.
They didn't really improve, actually.
Yeah, we expected a little bit more from Byrne that lap, so clearly losing a lot of time, it must be said, in that final sector. And as somebody pointed out, Fosbury up in 8th position at the moment, doing a fantastic job in the Haas so far. Obviously, he's got some redemption after a very disappointing first 2 races of the season, so we'll be looking to see if we can do that. But of course, we know that how good that Haas is in qualifying trim. We've seen it with Chris Chatfield. It's just the race have not been able to hook up at the moment. So whether they can do that here in Shanghai, we'll have to wait and see as De Rosa pulls into his box. So
from him too.
Currently, De Rosa's had quite a good start to the season, it must be said. Although he's probably feeling a little, he was unlucky to get taken out in Bahrain thanks to that final corner, because he was on course for some more points. But it has been a very strong start to the season for De Rosa, the man who got McLaren's only podium last season at Monaco after a correct strategy call from McLaren. And so he'll be looking to see if when we get to Monaco, if he can perform that same strategical masterclass there when we get there in about 3 weeks' time. I should think, unless things change along the way in Yuri's schedule. But we'll have to wait and see on that. But anyway, Titkov currently 20th. Unfortunately, the two manners are now in the drop zone, so whether one of them can make it out in time. Martinez was obviously still in the garage when all those runs were happening. So we should expect Martinez to come out this time by. As Chatfield is still out on there's still a few cars that are out on the track at the moment. And speaking of Martinez, he's going out on the track now. Then, so he just flicks out of pit lane, and obviously Manor in their penultimate season of the top class. Of course, next season will be their final season, and I'm currently working on the livery of that livery at the moment. I think I'm nearly finished it actually. Should be an interesting livery, it must be said. That I'm aiming for with that one, so be on the lookout for that when the 2020 sign-ups come about, which will be the Sunday before the British Grand Prix. So anyway, here is Martinez now then, as he just comes down towards the hairpin using all the curb on the right hand side there, and he'll be looking to see if he can get his Manor back into the Q2 if he can. Try and get the Manor up there if he can. Martinez has been proven to be pretty good in qualifying so far this season, must be said. Obviously, it's obviously 1-1 between himself and Titkov, but of course the man has locked out the back row in Bahrain. But Martinez has been showing some good pace in qualifying, but for some reason in the race he just doesn't seem to be able to hook it up at the moment compared to teammate Titkov. So maybe that's an area that Martinez needs to work on at this point in time, as he just makes his way around the section of corners. We'll be hoping there'll be no traffic in front of him when he gets towards the pit straight, as he's soon going to be approaching the very long straight. I wonder if this is going to be the final run for these people as well, just looking at the time. I think this might be the final set of flying laps that we're going to see here. So whoever's left in the pit lane, they'll have to hope that they don't get knocked out, because judging from what we saw in Martinez, we are expecting one guy to be left behind in the pit lane, because Grand Prix 4 is Grand Prix 4, of course. So let's see then. So Martinez now then comes around the final corner. There are still some guys coming out of the pit lane, so Martinez will have to hope there's no traffic once he gets to that point, as Martinez now then is going to start his lap now then, as he'll make his way down towards turn 1, and he just gets by the racing point, so there'll be no traffic for Martinez to worry about. Catalan and Campano are still in the pit lane, so I'll be hoping that they're not one of the guys that's going to get left behind at this point in time, as they are both currently in the drop zone. As Martinez now just goes around the left-hander, and he will soon be coming up towards 7. Let's see what his first sector is like, and he's 3 tenths down on his personal best. So at the moment, he's not looking like he's going to be getting out of that drop zone at the moment. And so it's not looking good at the moment for Martinez, as Catalan has gone out onto the track. Is Campana going to do the same, or is he going to be left behind? Is it going to be Chatfield or Campana that gets left behind? Let's see. As I mean, the way through the corner. There's still pit indicators at the moment for both of them at this point in time, and it's Campana that gets left behind. So Campana is going to be out of qualifying, it seems, because there's not enough time left to get out on the track, and I don't see another icon in the pit lane, so I believe Campana is out of qualifying, so he's going to be out in Q1. He's going to be on the back row of the grid, and will he be joined by his teammate Felix Sontag? That's the question. He's either going to be last or second to last. Meantime, Martinez's lap is going to get compromised even more, because he's got a racing point right next to him of Roland Motrin, and Martinez having to concede there, and it looks like that Martinez, as a result, is not going to make it out of the drop zone, as he just makes his way around the final corner, and he comes onto the pit straight, and Martinez is going to cross the line, and he does not improve as a result. So Martinez is out of qualifying. He will be in at least highest 17th. We look at Chung now, who's not on an improvement. Kupok is about to start a lap very soon. As Chung now then approaches the final corner, let's see what she can do. She's able to perform some form of miracle in the last sector. Chung now then in front of her home fan. She's currently at the top. Let's see if she can improve on that even more, and it looks like she's not going to by over a second. So she put in a very good lap when she put that lap in earlier on. Maybe a sign of things to come for the rest of the session. Here comes Gabriel Gomez now then, who is on an improvement. Currently finding himself down in 15th, so he may feel like he does need to improve at the moment, given he's not that far away from the drop zone. Gomez now then, across the line he will come, and he goes up to 13th at that time, getting in front of teammate Videri. Here is Carr, meanwhile. He's not on an improvement as we speak, and he doesn't improve, remains in second position as Garma doesn't improve, remains in fifth. Gal remains in third position. Here comes Evan Byrne. He's in the drop zone and he's not going to make it out. So Byrne is out in Q1. Another disappointing session for Evan Byrne. He's down in 18th position. Here comes George Roke. He goes up to fifth.
Oh.
Very good improvement there as Lopez goes to second. 200s off of Chung. De Rosa goes up to fifth now with that time. Here comes Sontag. Can he get out of the drop zone? He's on an improvement. Let's see. And it's only on lap time. So Sontag is out. Titkov is also out as well. So he's not going to make it. Willows, meantime, goes up to third to make it a 1-3 for Ferrari. Again, like we saw a little bit earlier on in the session. Fosbury now then. Across the line he will go. And he doesn't improve. Tomaselli, meanwhile, he's currently in 12th. And he stays in 12th. Here comes Roland Motrin coming out of that final corner. And he's going to be coming across the line. And no improvement for him. Martinez goes back into the pits. Here is Videri, meanwhile, currently in 15th and not on an improvement as we speak. So he'll be hoping that he can stay in Q2 like his teammate Gomez. But across the line comes the Italian and no improvement for him. Here comes David Cupop, meanwhile, currently finding himself in 11th position. I think he's safe to go through into Q2 anyway, and no improvement there. Here comes Catalan. He needs to get out of the drop zone. He's down in 21st at the moment. Catalan, can he improve? Can he get himself into Q2? And no, he can't. Catalan out of Q1. Only 17th that time by Mackenzie, a guy who was on the brink, doesn't improve, but he remains in 16th as Chatfield, who's already through, just got overtaken there by Gamba. But I think we've got our bottom six sorted, I think that's everybody done. So it seems then our bottom six are Catalan, Martinez, Byrne, Titkov, Campana and Sontag. They are the 6 drivers who have not made it into Q2. So disappointing really for Catalan and Byrne, 17th and 19th for them. And they'll be frustrated with that as well, and they'll be looking to see if they can make amends during the race. Especially Catalan as well, he showed some very impressive showing in an impressive showing, I should say, in Bahrain, but unfortunately he's in the same predicament as what Cupok was last weekend, not making it into Q2. But Cupok has, he made it through, he's in 11th, and he'll be looking to see if he can try and get it into Q3 a little bit later on. But we'll just wait for these guys to come into the pits before it heads back into the menu screen, because that's how GP4 works, specifically Cupok, because he's the only one that's still speeding at the moment. The guys who are on slowing down laps, they're not an issue. It's just the people who are currently going at racing speed who are the only ones who are not giving the qualifying over graphic up at the moment. We just need to wait for Cupok now to go into the pits, I believe, or was it No, I think it's Cupok that we need to wait for, I believe. No, in fact, that was the last car actually. So there we are then. So a reminder then, it's Chung at the top with Lopez in second and Willows running out the top 3, and your bottom 6 being Catalan, Martinez, Byrne, Titkov, Campana and Sontag. So just a little break now before we get into Q2, so just give Yuri some time, but we'll talk a little bit whilst we wait for Q2 to get prepared. So after that session, what did you make of Q1, Danny? Any surprises?
Surprising is probably the bottom 5 or 6, sorry.
Yeah,
other than that,
people in particular, I think, bigger shockers, Byrne and Catalan. Disappointment, you'd have to say, on their end.
Yeah, that is disappointing.
And but obviously Chung topping the session in front of her home fans.
Yeah, I had faith in her. So yeah,
she looks like she at this early stage could be a contender for pole position. It looks like Lopez might be a contender as well, given the pace that he showed in practice. And but who knows, really? Maybe it's a fight between Chung and Lopez for pole position. We'll have to wait and see on that. Chung, of course, looking for redemption after a strategy mix-up from Ferrari, which probably cost her a chance of getting her first ever win. Who knows? Maybe if she is on pole for tomorrow, the home race could be the track where she gets not only her first podium but her first win. Bit similar to her teammate Joseph Willows, who got his first win at his home race back in 2006. So bit of similarities there if that happens, but not really. But obviously we need to get through Q2 first before we get to start really. So anyway, so obviously let us know, guys, what you think of of this session. Any shockers for you during that session, and what are your early predictions going into Q? Well, when it comes to the end of qualifying, obviously we'll ask for your predictions for Q2. I forgot to ask you that for Q1 actually, what your predictions were for being the bottom 6. Well, I'll ask you that once Q2 comes about, and so. But it looks like it at the moment, as we just saw there, Danny, maybe an interesting fight for pole position, and we're soon going to be getting underway with Q2 very, very soon, because we're now on the weather screen. And as expected, for a reminder for everyone, we're not expecting any rain in any of the qualifying sessions. It's going to be dry throughout, so be aware of that. But we're getting underway now with Q2 as we get onto the loading screen. So yeah, let us know, guys, what your predictions are for Q2, who you think is going to get knocked out and who you think will go through. And it should be quite interesting indeed. So we should expect all 16 drivers to get out there and do a lap. No excuses this time round. So I just put something down on Twitter whilst we wait, as we're now in the garage.
Yeah, I can hear it.
And yeah, you can hear me typing possibly in the background because my microphone's picking it up. So yeah, that's that.
Yeah.
Little behind the scenes stuff going on here, but yeah, that really. And just putting it down. So I think we've got some action now. Lopez is now going out onto the racetrack.
Out, going out.
So he'll be the first to set a benchmark basically in this qualifying session of Q2. So he'll be warming up the tyres as everybody will be coming out. We've got the likes of Fosbury and Gomez now then out on the racetrack, and they'll be looking to see if they can get themselves into Q2 as Q3, sorry, as well. And so that will be the interesting thing as well. As I'm just typing in a moment, guys, but I will be putting some attention before, hopefully, when Lopez does a lap. So just bear with me a moment. I should have done this a lot sooner, really, but stupid me, got a bit distracted. So that's that, really. And just the final sentence, and there we go. So let's get my attention back to this qualifying session. So everybody now coming out on the track, Garmin coming out, Gar coming out on track, and I think who's going to be, it looks like Q-Pot's going to be the last of the cars to come out onto the...
If I saw that.
No, Burns not in. Burn got knocked out, remember. Burns just a player car, basically, because that's the only way we can do it on this game. So anyway, we now look at Lopez now then. He makes his way towards the hairpin. Just missing the curb on the entrance there, but he'll soon be starting his lap, and he'll be coming up towards the final corner, flicking it into the left and making his way down the pit straight, and he will now start his first lap of Q2, and across the line he will go as he'll make his way now then towards turn 1, flicking the car to the right before making it into turn 2, because this is classed as turn 2, oddly enough. I don't understand why, because it all looks like one corner to me, but there we go. Turn 3 now then, and this is classed as turn 4. Again, the weirdness of the first few corners, but there we are. Through the little kink before heading towards the hairpin. Let's see if he uses the curve on the inside, doing a 22.1 in the first sector, so a decent first sector there for the Argentine. As Lopez now then making his way towards the long swooping left-hander, and then going through the right, swooping it in, and then heading towards the double left-hander, missing the curb on the entrance, going through the second left-hander before heading towards another 90-degree left-hander. This track is riddled with a lot of 90-degree corners, whether that be, I think it's mainly left-handers that have got the 90-degree angle on them. As they go around the banking now then before heading down this long straight, where we're obviously going to see most of the overtakes come during the race, and possibly also the pit straight as well, and if you may be lucky, maybe even the hairpin down at turn 6, I believe it is. So Lopez now then going into the hairpin, and let's see what the benchmark time is going to be then. This is going to be set by the Argentine as he makes his way towards the final corner, and now onto the pit straight comes the Argentine, and let's see what sort of lap time it's going to be then. It's Franco Lopez, the man who won in Bahrain last time out, is going to cross the line, and it is a 1:31.7. Not the quickest we've seen, but it is at the top of the moment. Fosbury 3 tenths off him there. Gomez goes to third behind Fosbury, so Fosbury continuing the pace that he showed in Q1, sorry, at the moment, as Willows now then crosses the line and beats Lopez to go to the top. Here comes Rosa, across the line he will go into 4th position. Here comes Jay McKenzie in the Renault. Let's see where the 2-time champion can place himself. He goes into 5th. A lot of people slower than Fosbury at the moment, which is interesting to see. Same with Roke, only 6th place that time by. Fosbury showing some good pace so far in this qualifying session. Here comes Paolino Tomaselli in the McLaren, making his way towards the final corner. And Tomaselli, let's see where he can go, as he will now cross the line. And the McLaren, where does he place himself? And he goes to third. A very good time there from Tomaselli, as Chung now goes to the top by a 10th ahead of teammate Willows. Let's see if Franco Gama can beat that. It didn't look like the best of times coming out of that corner there, and he's only 6th for that lap, so it wasn't a good time there. Carr only 4th, 3-4 at the moment for Mercedes. Here comes Chris Chatfield now then, across the line he will go, and he slots himself to 12th. Gal only 10th, looked like he got held up that time by, as a result of Motrin going up to 8th. Videri goes 11th, as here comes Kupok. Let's see what he can do, and he slots to 16th. So at the moment it's currently a Ferrari 1-2, but a lot of hold-ups that time by, it must be said. Danny.
Yeah, not a lot. I don't think so. Or I was not paying attention. Either those two.
Good
well, I will bring up the Red Bulls, only 7th. So as we see the Alfa Romeo there pulling into his box as well, that will be Gabriel Gomez with the yellow helmet. As Kupok's still roaming around the moment, but he'll be coming back into the pits very, very soon. And I don't know if there was no, I think it was just my end actually that was doing that for some odd reason. For some reason, my stream, the stream that I'm watching the OC chat in at the moment, it kind of stopped, but I realised it was on my end because it said that it wasn't live, so that's on my end there. Bit of a weird issue going on there, but as everybody being wheeled back into their garage, as Roke getting the trolleys underneath him, currently in 13th. We'll be looking to see if he can improve at the moment. His teammate Motrin currently in the top 10 as we speak at this point in time. So anyway, so we should be expecting some improvements. I would expect some more improvements from the 2 Red Bull drivers, Franco Gamba and Miklos Gau, currently 7th and 10th. And Videri currently outside the top 10 at the moment in 11th position, the star of Bahrain, it must be said. Obviously got voted driver of the day. Lopez again, going to be the first one to come out on the track from these set of runs, but he's also got the Alfa Romeo behind him as well. I believe that's going to be Gabriel Gomez, and it is Gabriel Gomez because we saw Andre Videri just a little bit earlier on. I'd be very surprised if they wheeled him out that quickly on Grand Prix 4, it must be said, but I believe it is Gomez, and it is Gomez according to the timing tower on the left-hand side there. So Lopez just flicking the car around the left-hander before making his way down towards the hairpin. And just making his way towards the hairpin he goes now then. Using a little bit of the curb on the outside before heading towards the quick left-hander. And he will soon be starting his next lap very, very soon. Currently in 3rd position. And he'll be looking to try and get himself in the fight for pole position in Q3 if he can. And obviously been in the fight all season so far for pole position so far. Looking to see if he can continue that here in China as he makes his way through the little chicane before going into the banking, and soon we'll be starting his next line lap very soon. Hopefully there'll be no traffic when he gets to the pit straight, of course, on his next flying lap. But of course he comes into this race 2 points behind Franco Gama, currently a 1-2 for Franco's in the Drivers' Championship. He'll be looking to see if he can take the lead in the Drivers' Championship coming out of this race. It'll be very interesting to see.
Yeah, I think that driver is going to the end of the season.
Yeah, I'll have to wait and see on that. It's obviously early days as well. We're only in race 3 of 21. As Lopez now then starting his lap as he makes his way down towards the first corner, flicking it into the right before heading his way now then into turns 2 and 3. Luckily, that Red Bull in front of him didn't get in the way, so it looks like he's going to be a clear lap for the Argentine. As he makes his way towards the end of the first sector. Let's see what his first sector is going to be like. He just approaches it now, and he's 1/10 up on Chung in the first sector, so already looking like a very good improvement at the moment for Franco Lopez, as he'll now make his way towards the long swooping left-hander before making his way towards the right-hander so far then, and now heading towards the double left-hander, which slows the car down. Obviously, that bit of the part of the track kind of reminds me a little bit of Sepang, it must be said, that little left and right-hander. Obviously, this was designed by Herman Tilke, this track, so you can kind of see where the inspiration came from there. 2 temps now up on Chung in the middle sector. 5 temps up on his personal best, so this looks like it's going to be a massive improvement for Franco Lopez. That at the moment,
practice sessions.
Of course, he was the top in practice as well, and we saw towards the end of Q1 that he was able to improve as well. Hence why I think he will be a factor in the fight for pole position a little bit later on today.
I didn't want to say that. I wanted to say that if you remember from the practice sessions, there, I don't know who that was, but he too had a massive improvement in the first 2 sectors and messed it up in the last one.
That was we saw that a little bit in Q1 with Evan Byrne. As Lopez now goes to the top with a 1:31.080. That's the quickest we've seen in qualifying today. As Gomez improved, but only into 13th position. Here comes Joseph Willows. He makes his way out of the final corner and onto the pit straight he will go. Let's see if he can find any time to improve. And he doesn't improve that time by Chatfield. About to start his lap, same with Miklos Gal. Meantime, De Rosa's on improvement. He's currently down in 9th, so this looks like it could be an improvement for the Polish drivers. He makes his way out of that final corner and onto the pit straight, and Kirishima De Rosa is going to come across the line. Let's see what he can do, and he remains where he is, but he improves on his current lap. Car is on improvement. Can he get himself to the top? No, it's only 2nd place, so it's now a Mercedes 1-2. It was at one point a Ferrari 1-2, now it's a Mercedes 1-2. Here comes Fosbury coming out of that final corner now then. Let's see what he can do. Currently in 6th position, so a good session so far for Jared Fosbury. And he doesn't improve, remains in 6th, as Motrin improves, but remains in 8th position. Roke on improvement, can he get himself into the top 10? And he can, he goes up to 10th, gets in front of Gal, as here comes Q-Puck, and he improves, but remains in 16th. Tomaselli, meanwhile, not on an improvement at this point in time, and he remains in 5th position. Mackenzie goes up to 5th, a very good time from Jay Mackenzie there, pushes Roke back outside of the top 10. Here comes Chung on an improvement. And no, she can't. She remains in 3rd. He remains in 3rd position with that time, so not able to knock Lopez back off the top. Here comes Gamba, who's not on an improvement. I wonder if he got held up a little bit there, because we did see there was a car behind him there. And but he did find some time in the last sector to go up into 6th position. So that's that ready. Videri, meanwhile, he's on an improvement. Let's see what Gamba's good friend can do, Andre Videri. And this looks like a very good lap for Videri, actually. Across the line he will go. And so close, but yet so far. Only just missing out on the top 10 there. Chatfield making a little error, I think, there. A little bit of understeer coming through the final corner there, as he was on an improvement. Let's see if he can still improve. He does, but only up to 14th. Not in the top 10 like his teammate Fosbury at this point in time. Gal improves. He goes up into 6th. So that pushes De Rosa outside of the top 10 at the moment. And that's that with these sets of runs. So whether we'll see some people getting one more run in, we'll have to wait and see. We might get a few, we'll have to wait. But all really depends really on when these guys come out with only just under 3 minutes to go in this session. I think most of the guys that we just saw there won't be able to get another time in, but guys who are already just coming to the pits, they might be able to get one more flying lap in. So Gal doing enough to stay in Q3 as the mechanics wheel back De Rosa, and will he be able to get back out just in time? We'll have to wait and see as Motrin pulls into his box. He's currently on the cusp of Q3 at the moment, so I'll have to wait and see if that remains, as that was Q-Puck who just came in there. I don't know if he's going to have enough time. We'll have to wait and see, as there's still some guys out there roaming around. They might not have enough time, actually. We'll have to wait and see, as Lopez goes back out onto the racetrack, so he'll be able to get one more lap in. But will anybody else? Anybody that comes out below 1 minute 31 will not be able to get a time in. So let's see on that, as Lopez comes out of the pits, as he just makes his way around the long swooping right-hander. Through the left-hander he will go. And let's see if anybody else will join him. Gal, I think, is still on the track coming back into the pits, and he is in the pits. Let's see if anybody else... Looks like, will Lopez Video only want to do a lap, or will somebody else join him just before we get under 1 minute 31? Let's see. as it was just a few seconds left.
Gomez.
Gomez is out there, so he could still knock Motrin out. He's just got out just in time. And as he goes around the right-hander,
No
and that's
laps.
that then. So it's going to be just Lopez and Gomez that are going to be able to do a time in this session. So in
was
terms
right.
of Rosa, Verderi, Roke, Chatfield and Qpoc, they are out in Q2. Gomez has got one more lap, so he could still knock Motrin out. So it's either going to be Motrin or Gomez that doesn't make it into the final part of qualifying. As Lopez looking to see if he can better that 1 minute 31.080, maybe try and get into the 1 minute 30s if he can. As he will make his way down towards the hairpin. As so that really is comes out of the corner that as he now makes his way towards the final corner. And we do have a Renault, of course, in Q3 as well. Jay McKenzie, as he just pointed out there in the chat, up in 5th position. A very good session for Jay McKenzie that time by. Be looking to see if he can do a good job during Q3 as well. As Lopez just starts his lap, goes around turn 1. And I think you can just see there, I'm just looking on the map, Gomez is just coming up towards the end of the long straight. So he should be able to get a lap in just in time, of course. Because he can still knock out Motrin. The top 10 hasn't been secured just yet, but from 1st to 9th, everyone is through, including Jared Fosbury. Jared Fosbury making his way into Q3. I think that's the first time a Haas has got into Q3 this season, and it's courtesy of Jared Fosbury, so a very good qualifying for Jared Fosbury, as Franco Lopez makes his way around the long swooping left-hander, and Gomez, I think, has just started his lap now then, so
This is
he is
a
on a lap.
disappointing session for Red Bull, though.
Has been, yes, indeed, but they are through. They are through into Q3, so they'll be looking to see if they can make amends in the final part of qualifying and get themselves right up to the thicker end of the front row, of the first few rows. As Lopez now then just goes around the long shooting right-hander. He's not on an improvement. He's 4 tenths off his personal best in the middle sector, so probably just getting a few mileage runs in whilst he's waiting. But we are obviously having to keep an eye on Gomez. We'll look at him once Lopez finishes his lap. As the Argentine now then makes his way down towards the hairpin. Let's see what he can do. Into the hairpin he goes, as he will now make his way towards the final corner. And on towards the final corner he goes now then, and onto the pit straight goes Franco Lopez. Let's see what lap time he can do. I don't think it's going to be an improvement, but let's see. Anyway, Lopez crosses the line and he's 5 tenths off his personal best. So 131.6. We now need to get to Gomez. Here he is, and he is on an improvement, so this is going to be quite interesting at the moment, as he did, I don't know if he just lost a bit of time in that middle sector according to that there, but he is on an improvement. But whether it will be enough, it's going to be nip and tuck. It all depends on that last sector. We know how good the Ferrari engine is on the straight. That could help him out. Here comes Gomez then, round the final corner. Can he get himself into the top 10 now then? Gomez, across the line he will go. He's currently 15th. Can he get himself into Q3? No, he can't. He remains in 15th, but improves on his best time. So Motrin just able, by the skin of his teeth, to go through into Q3 there. So Gomez out, our bottom 6. You can see on the screen, we'll go through once we get to the results scene, but it is Franco Lopez who tops this session from Amar Kar and Laura Chung. So Mercedes 1-2 at the end of this session, as we will, as I just get a little photograph of...
And the Ferrari 3-4.
Yeah, a 3-4 for Ferrari, so it looks like it could be a fight between Mercedes and Ferrari for pole position. As I just got a photo there, but there's a reminder then. Lopez top, Carr in second and Chung in third, with the bottom 6 being De Rosa, Verderi, Roke, Chatfield, Gomez and Qpoc. So we will just, we'll obviously have the graphic up in a bit. Q3 coming up very soon as Yuri sorts out all the settings. So after that session, Danny, what did you make of it?
I think Red Bull is not going to be that strong. And it's going to be between Mercedes and Ferrari, probably.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see with Red Bull whether they can pull it back into Q3, but not the best of sessions, as you said, in Q2 for them. Only 6th and 7th that time by, and they'll be hoping to see if they can improve on that in this session, but only time will tell. As
You're typing again.
Anyway, guys, yeah, because I'm doing the Twitter again. So anyway, let us know in the chat, guys, whilst we wait for Q3 to get underway, what your prediction is for Q number 3. And personally, in mine and Danny's opinion, we believe it's going to be a fight between Mercedes and Ferrari for pole position. I think it's mainly going to be between Lopez and Chung, to be honest with you, but we'll have to wait and see. So that's that, really. And But it will be a very fascinating final part of qualifying, that is for sure. A reminder to anybody who needs a reminding of as well, GP2 is not on this week. It will be back next week at Baku. That's why it's only the top class this week. But we've also got DTM this weekend as well. It returns this weekend for the first race of the season at the current layout of Hockenheim. And we also have BTCC pre-season testing, which returns this Sunday as well at the Grand Prix layout of Donington Park with the brand new 1993 mod being used. So be on the lookout for that. Some exciting content coming your way this week for GP4 OC. The Formula E pre-season test, for anybody wondering, is on next Thursday. Not this Thursday, next Thursday. Just want to make that absolutely clear. So that's that really. So I'll just type for the moment whilst we wait for Q3 to get underway. So sorry if you can hear any typing at this point in time. So as we are about to get set for Q3 actually, and as expected there is no rain at all. So leave your predictions, guys. But without further ado, I think we can get to it. And whilst we're on the loading screen, I'll just continue typing to the Twitter account. So bear with me, guys. I'll get there before somebody starts a lap. And so, again, leave your predictions in the comments on who you think will take pole position. And, yeah, maybe you want to predict the rest of the grid as well, if you want to, as well, in the comments whilst you're at it as well. As I don't know why we had a little bit of a sound in the background there. I don't know if somebody muted. But anyway, we're in the garage now as everybody flicks through. And it will be a fascinating battle for pole position, that is for sure. And just writing this out for Twitter, out in Q2 are as follows. Of course, they were De Rosa, Federi, Roke, Chatfield, Gomez, and Q-Pop for anybody who needs a reminding. And the top 10 who are going to be fighting it out for pole position here are Lopez, Carr, Chung, Willows, McKenzie, Gal, Gamba, Tomaselli, Fosbury, and Motrin. They are the guys who are in Q3 and will be trying to fight it out for pole position if they can, or even for a good position. In this session, just put that on Twitter. I think we've got a car on track. Yeah. Yes, we have. I've just got back onto the Discord, and it is Armar Carr who is out there on track first of all, and he's joined by the likes of Frankie Gamba and Jay McKenzie. Of course, Armar Carr not getting off to the best of starts in his first season with Mercedes after a very impressive season at Ferrari last season, where he got the most wins of anybody. I think last season, I think he got more wins than both Florian and Franco, and even Joseph, who was the other winner last season, but missing out on the title, probably feels a little bit gutted and looking for vengeance if he can here at Mercedes, but so far not got off to the best of start. But a reminder as well of what Florian Volker was able to do last season at Mercedes. It can still be possible for Armar Carr to turn it all around, so we'll have to wait and see. As Carr coming up to the end of Sector 2, he'll soon be starting off his lap very soon. Just looking on the left graphic there, we've just got one more car I think to come out onto the track. I think 9 of the cars are out there at the moment. Garma being held up by McKenzie, but I think he should be able to dispose of him once he come down the straight, and it was Tomaselli that we were waiting for. So there we go, all 10 cars are now on the track, as Carr will now make his way down towards the hairpin and to start his first flying lap of Q3. Just coming out of the corner now, then his car now then makes his way towards the final corner and onto the pit straight he will now go. And let's see what he can do now then as he starts his lap round about now then. So making his way down the straight, heading towards the first corner, a very long right-hander, which is classed as 2 corners for some reason on this racetrack. I have no idea why, but there we are. Through into turn 3 we go, before heading through turn 4, which is this little bit over here, before making it through the kink of turn 5, as he now approaches the end of the first sector. Let's see what his time is going to be at the end of the first sector. And it is a 21.943, so a very good first sector actually for Armar Carr. A very strong first sector, it must be said, as he will now make his way towards the Malaysia-esque left and right complex, coming around the section of corners before heading his way down towards the double left-hander. And so far, no mistakes for Armar Carr. Knock on wood for him there then, as they now make his way towards the end of Sector 2, a 49.176, again, quite a good second sector for Armar Carr. Just looking compared to everybody else, he's up on Franco Gamba, up on Jay McKenzie, they're the times so far that we've got. I'm just looking at the first sectors at the moment, and it does appear like he was the quickest in the first sector compared to everyone, but not everybody has started a lap yet, so not really representative at the moment of what everybody else is doing. And as he now makes his way towards the hairpin now. Then let's see what Armakar can do. He could be in the fight. Could be in the fight actually for pole position, other than Lopez and Chung and maybe Willows. But let's see then. So Carr now then comes around the final corner onto the pit straight. Let's see what lap time he can do. Armakar comes across the line. Can he get into the 1 minute 30s? No, he can't. It's a 1 minute 31.174. Not quite as quick as Lopez in Q2, but still a good time nonetheless. Garber went second. Mackenzie, not a good lap from him, down in third. Here comes Joseph Willows now then, making his way towards the final corner. Can he try and knock off his former teammate off the top of the timing sheet? Says Joseph Willows now then comes across the line in the Ferrari. And no, he can't. Slots to third behind Garma. Here's Franco Lopez. He's been quick all weekend. Let's see what he can do. Can he knock off his teammate off the top? And no, he can't.
He can.
Second place. Here comes Gal. This looks like a good time for him. He goes third with that time. Only a few hundreds off Lopez that time by. Motrin goes to sixth. Here comes Jared Fosby making his way out of the final corner. Let's see what he can do in the Haas now then, as he will come across the line. And he slots to 7th ahead of Mackenzie. Chung only 7th that time by.
That is surprising.
I wonder if she got held up that time by Fosbury. We'll have to check on that on the next lap. Here comes Thomas Selby now then across the line. He will come in the McLaren. And he slots to 5th that time by getting ahead of Willows, in fact. So only 6th and 8th so far for the Ferraris. But at the moment, it is currently a Mercedes 1-2 side, with Carr currently at the top by 3 tenths ahead of teammate Lopez. So some very interesting stuff after those first runs.
Like we underestimated Red Bull, to be honest.
It seems so, it must be said. Currently 3rd and 4th at the moment. Gal ahead of Gamba. And so Carr now making his way back into the pits. And he will just pull into his pit box now then, and that will be that as he just goes down the hill. And there are his mechanics waiting for him. So far it's been a good start to Q3 for Armar Carr. Remember, Carr did win here last season, so maybe could he look, and I think he did take pole here last season as well, so maybe he's looking for 2 in a row here in Shanghai if he can, both in terms of pole and win. So I think I'm correct on that. I might need to double check on that stat. Give me a moment whilst everybody's in the pits. I'll go and check that stat for you to see if he was on pole last season in China. I believe he was, but it's best to double check these things. So just scrolling down to the results bit, and yes, it was Armar Carr who took pole position last season. In fact, he did the clean sweep last season. Pole, fastest lap, and the race win when he was at Ferrari. Maybe the same could come whilst he's at Mercedes this season. We'll have to wait and see.
That he's got pole for. There he's got pole by 4 tenths right now.
And who knows, maybe this could be another pole position for him in Shanghai. But we've still got plenty of time to go. I don't think we've seen a true representation of Ferrari just yet. But you never know, of course, as the Racing Point mechanics just get to work on Motrin's car there. So we wait for another set of cars to come down pit lane. And speaking of which, Carl is going out again. He's the first one to go out onto the racetrack to see if he can improve on that 1 minute 31.174 that he just set. So Armar Carr now then coming down pit lane, and he will flick off the pit limiter, which he does. So he comes out onto the racetrack. He just makes his way around the long swooping right-hander now then, before making his way in through the section of corners, and just going around the left-hander, and he will soon be ready to start his second flying lap very, very soon. Garber has come out onto the track with a clear track in front of him, so he'll be looking to see if he can improve on that P4. And Willows has also come out onto the track. He's desperate to improve on his 6th position, and he also have I think he will have a healthy bit of track in front of him as well, so he'll be looking to see if he can improve on that as Carr makes his way around the long swooping right-hander as he goes through the double left-hander. As we now come towards Carr now then, as he'll be coming up towards the end of the second sector, and he'll soon be starting his next flying lap very soon as he comes out of this third sector, of course. He'll come around the banking, heading towards the straight, and so as mentioned, we'll be looking to see if he can improve on that 1 minute 31.1. Obviously, it's not the fastest we've seen today in qualifying. We saw in Q2 that Franco Lopez did a 1 minute 31.0 in Q2, a very quick time from him in the previous session. So whether Car can improve on that and maybe try and break into the 1 minute 30s, we'll have to wait and see. Car now then making his way through the final corner and onto the pit straight. He will now go to start his next flying lap, which will start round about now. Here he goes then. Luckily for him, I don't think there's any traffic at the end of the pit lane, so he's got a clear track in front of him. And as I say that, Fosbury is out in front of him. I didn't quite see him there on the left-hand side camera, but it looks like Car's lap already being compromised by the Haas of Jared Fosbury, who currently finds himself in 9th position during this qualifying session, ahead of the run-out of Jay McKenzie. And let's see what Car's first sector is like anyway, and he is down by 2 tenths. Not by much, but 2 tenths of a second off his personal best in the first sector. Maybe he was expecting a little bit more of a fast time if Fosbury was not in front of him there, as he makes his way through the Malaysia-esque left and right-hander now then, before heading towards the double left-hander and looking to see if he can try and pass him, possibly into the end of sector 2 here, if he can. But he's not close enough that time by. We know how quick the Ferrari engine is down a straight, which is what Fosbury has in the back of the Haas, as he will now swoop their way around the right-hander now then. And heading down the straight we go. Let's see if Car can gain some time back from the slipstream of Fosbury down the straight. He should be able to get past him pretty easily down here, even though he is carrying a Ferrari engine, but he should be later on the brakes than him, which he is. And let's see.
Pretty equal, actually.
Then again, he could have been late on the brakes. We don't know yet. So let's see if he has found any time or the time has been compromised still. Let's see. Car now then comes across the line, and no, it's not going to be an improvement. 8 tenths off his personal best. We now look at Franco Gamba, who is on an improvement, but he still looks like he's 1 tenth off of Car, but he could get himself on the front row here. Here comes Franco Gamba then. Can he get the Red Bull on the front row? And yes, he can. He goes up to second. He splits the 2 Mercedes. Here comes Joseph Willows, who's not on an improvement. This is surprising. This is surprising from Joseph Willows. Let's see if he can pull it back in the last sector, which he can, but he's still only 6th. Not a good time from Willows. Mackenzie, meanwhile, goes up to 9th. Here is Motrin, who's not on an improvement at this point in time, as there is Chung, as she is on an improvement, and she's up on Car. So we've got a battle here. Chung could actually knock Car off the top of the timing sheets, judging from her split times there. So now we look at Roland Motrin, who comes out of the hairpin, making his way now then down towards the final corner. And let's see if he can improve. Keep an eye on the background for Chung, because she was up on Car in the first 2 sectors. The Chinese fans will erupt if she can get the pole position. Motrin does not improve. Now here comes Chung. Can she get pole? Yes, she can.
Yes, she
Chung
can.
goes to the top. On the top of the timing sheet as Gao does not improve. The Chinese fans erupt in the grandstands as we now look at Franco Lopez, who comes out of the final corner. Let's see if he can pull something off in the last sector. He hasn't improved, not an improvement. He does improve, but remains in 4th position. As now we look at Fosbury, who's on an improvement at the moment, so he could get himself back up to 9th position. And looking in the way that Car passed him there, so he's able to get a better lap in. Let's see what Fosbury can do then in the Haas. He's had a very impressive qualifying session today. Let's see what he can do this time by as he makes his way down the pit straight, and Fosbury across the line he will go. And he doesn't improve on his position, but he is under 2 seconds behind Chung. He is still in 10th. Here comes Tomaselli on the improvement, and he goes to 6th ahead of Willows. So a very good time there from Tomaselli. I think he stays in 6th actually, but still getting a little bit further ahead of Willows. Willows not having the session so far he wants. Now, will we get one more set of laps in? We'll have to wait and see, of course. Maybe Franco Gamba can get one more flying lap in. Maybe Armar Carr as well, to see if he can get back to the top of the timing sheets. We will have to wait and see, of course, as Gama being wheeled back into the pit lane by the Red Bull mechanics, as he will go back into the pit lane. As Mackenzie, here he is in 9th position. Probably not what he expected at the moment in time. Whether he'll have enough time to go out there for a second flying lap, I think it might be nip and tuck for the 2-time champion, who is desperate to get back into a top team for 2020 if he can. And having just missed out on a Red Bull seat for this season, it must be said. But we'll have to see on that as Mackenzie is being, his car is being worked on as Motrin goes into his box. See if anybody else goes out on the track. Probably Armar Carr might, as he did come in a little bit earlier on. We just need to see if a Mercedes goes by pit lane. As Motrin now then being wheeled back into his garage. In the Racing Point in 8th position, out qualifying teammate George Roque for the 2nd time this season, I believe it is. So that's that. As we've got a Red Bull coming out on track actually, and it's Franco Gamba who's going to be the first out on track. Will Carr get out on time though? That's the question. as Gamba looking to see if he can try and knock Chung off the top of the timing sheets. Gamba has never had a pole position in the OC, so he'll be looking to see if he can try and tick that one off the resume if he can. As he comes out on the track, will car come out on track? That's the thing. Just looking on the mini map, I think there is some movement. I don't know if it's car on. That car's out on track, so there's two guys who could knock Chung off the top of the timing sheet, and I don't think Chung's going to have enough time to get back out on the track. And no, she won't. So it's only Car and Gamba who are the only ones who could knock Chung off pole position and spoil her dream of being on pole in front of her home fans. So let's wait and see on that. So it's only going to be these two that are going to do laps, Franco Gamba and Amar Kar. Franco Lopez at maximum, he's going to be starting in 4th position actually, so he will be there because none of the other guys behind him are going out. So not the best of sessions for Franco Lopez. His front row streak coming to an end as a result. And for the first time this season, he's actually going to be out qualified by Amar Kar. So time this season that Kar has had the measure on Lopez in qualifying. So that's good news for him at the moment, and it could be a front row start, which is what he desperately needs after what has been a tricky start to the season for last season's runner-up. As Garma now then making his way towards the hairpin, and he will be starting his final flying lap. As he will now come towards the final corner to start his final lap very soon. Into the final corner and onto the pit straight he will go to start his final flying lap. And across the line he will now go then. So he starts his lap heading towards the first corner, flicking it around the right-hander, going through the long swooping right-hander on the racetrack now then, through the right and then going down towards the left. And Franco Garba now then just coming out the corner now then, through the left-hander, coming out the turn. And let's see what his first sector is like then compared to Loa Chung. And let's see, and he's 1/10 down off of Chung, and he's 600 off his personal best in the first sector. As Kami now approaching the first sector himself. Let's see what he can do. And he's also down on Chung in the first sector. So at the moment it's all looking good for Loa Chung to get a second pole position in a row and a first in front of her home fans. So now let's have a look at Franco Gamba. Through the double left-hander we go, as he makes his way down towards the end of the second sector. Let's see what Franco Gamba can do. And he's not on improving that time by. He's gained a little bit back, I think. Or is that... No, that says 2/10. I do apologise there. It seemed that the quality I was looking at there kind of deceived me. Let's see what Car can do. He's not improving. So it's all looking good at the moment for Loa Chung to take a second consecutive pole position. Here comes Franco Gamba now, then making his way down the hairpin. We know that we have seen times being gained back in the last sector. So it could be the case with Gamba and Car, but they will need to gain quite a lot, I think. Heading into the hairpin now then goes Franco Gamba, as he will now make his way towards the final corner now then. Let's see what he can do now then. Through the left-hander, heading down towards the pit straight. Let's see what he can do. Can he possibly try and get onto the front row if he can't beat Cut Chung? Across the line comes Franco Gamba, and no, he remains in third. As here comes Amar Kar. Can he find some time in the last sector if he can? Amar Kar now then heading down the pit straight. The man who took pole position here last season. Across the line he will go, and he doesn't improve for the second race in a row. It is Loa Chung who is on pole position.
Chung in pole position.
For the second race in a row, it is Loa Chung who takes pole position, and she takes pole in front of her adoring fans. The Chinese fans go wild. Loa Chung is on pole position, but can she this time try and get her first ever win tomorrow? That is the question. It all really depends on what strategy she's on tomorrow. It has obviously Amar Kar won from pole position last season as well. She'll be hoping that bit of luck comes back to her in this race as well. The same luck that Amar Kar had last season, I should say. And hopefully with the spurring of her home fans, she'll be hoping to take pole position. Well, sorry, not pole position, take the victory, I should say. I'm losing the words here. So it's the second pole position in a row for Ferrari. I think, no, third pole position in a row for Ferrari, I should say, because Florian Volker took pole here in 2017 when he was at Ferrari. So it's 3 poles in a row for Ferrari here in China. And we're now going to look at a lap from Loa Chung. So I'm going to stay silent now. And that was pole position for Laura Chung. An impressive lap for her, and it's 2 pole positions in a row for her in her OC career. And can she this time, though, get victory tomorrow? Well, that all remains to be seen. But the fans are happy, and it seems that most of the chat are also happy as well that Laura Chung has taken pole position yet again. So a reminder then of the top 10. Laura Chung on pole with Armar Carr, a much better qualifying in second. Franco Gamba third, with his fellow Franco in fourth. Franco Lopez, that is. Miklos Gal in fifth. Paulino Tomaselli, an impressive sixth. Joseph Willows, a disappointing seventh. A lot of work to do for him tomorrow. Roland Motrin in eighth. Jay McKenzie in ninth. And an impressive qualifying session from Jared Fosbury puts him in 10th for the Haas. So there you have it then. That has been it from qualifying here at the Chinese Grand Prix. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. What have you make of this session then, Danny, before we close off?
Well, my wish came true, or my prediction came true, that Laura Chung is going to take pole position, and I'm happy for her.
Yep, indeed. Can she convert it into her first ever win tomorrow? That is the question. But that all questions. Obviously, we're not going to be commentating tomorrow because, of course, we obviously let George do that for the highlights, so you won't hear our voices tomorrow. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. We will see you guys tomorrow then at 5 p.m. BST for the 56 lap Chinese Grand Prix. But until then, I've been JW97, he's been Danny, and we will see you very soon. Take care.
Bye.